So, what does it actually take for a company to go all in on AI? To really build its entire future around it. It's way more than just tacking on a new feature. We're about to get a look at the complete blueprint for one company doing just that. We're talking everything from the ground-up code all the way to their global game plan.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into their big picture vision, the why. Then we'll dive into the real heavy lifting, the tech engine they're building from scratch. After that, we'll see how that engine brings their new smart product to life, how they're planning to take it worldwide, and maybe the most important part, how they're going to know if any of this is actually working.
Okay, let's kick things off at the very beginning, the vision. You just don't decide to completely transform your company on a whim, right? There has to be a huge reason. And for this company, it all started when they had a major realization about where their whole industry was headed.
And this is really the big question that's driving everything for them. The people in charge took a hard look around. And what did they see? A bunch of competitors who are basically stuck in the mud, just adding old, clunky automation to their existing stuff. They saw this massive opportunity to just leapfrog everybody by building something that was AI first, right from its DNA.
And listen, this isn't just some fluffy mission statement. It's a real, concrete plan. It all starts this year with the launch of their Gemini AI features. But that's just the beginning. The real prize is the long game. By 2026, the goal is to use this AI edge to increase customer lifetime value, and then, by 2027, have AI fully baked into everything they do, the whole shebang.
Now, a vision that big? Well, it needs some serious horsepower to back it up. I mean, you can't build a spaceship with bicycle parts, right? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the actual tech engine they're building to make all this happen. This slide really nails the before and after picture. On one hand, you have this giant, clunky system. They called it a 17-module beast that made doing anything new a total nightmare. And on the other hand, you have the future, a modern, cloud-native setup on Google Cloud. Think of it like swapping out a tangled mess of wires for clean, modular Lego blocks you can snap together and change any time. And they're being super smart about how they're doing this. You can't just flip a switch on something this big. That's a recipe for disaster. Instead, it's this really careful step-by-step process. You start with the less critical stuff, then you tackle the old code bit by bit, and then you move it all over to the new platform. Honestly, it's a textbook move for how to pull off a huge tech migration without everything blowing up. And here's the so what. This is why it all matters. This isn't just about being cool and modern. It's about money. They're projecting that this move will slash their operational costs by a whopping 30%. Think about that. That's a huge chunk of cash that they can now pour right back into building even better stuff. So the big takeaway from this section is pretty simple. All this technical stuff, all this engineering, it's like the 90% of the iceberg that's underwater. You don't see it, but it is absolutely essential. Without this powerful new engine, none of the cool, flashy AI features we're about to talk about could even exist. Okay, so we've got the foundation built, now let's get to the fun part, the product. This is where all that behind-the-scenes work actually shows up and does something cool for the user. And this quote from one of the leaders, Yucheng Wang, really spells it out. The game plan here isn't just to add Gemini AI as another bullet point on a feature list, no. Way. The plan is to use it as their secret weapon, their core advantage, to build something that's just flat-out smarter than what the competition is doing. So, what does that actually mean for you, the user? Well, this AI brain is at the heart of everything. It's going to make your workflows way smarter, your shopping experiences feel like they were made just for you, and it's all designed for your phone first, with a cool gamified Chrome extension to keep you coming back. Plus, they're A/B testing everything to make sure it's always getting better. And why are they so obsessed with mobile? Well, the numbers don't lie. A massive 60% of their users are coming from the mobile app. It's pretty simple. If they want to win, they have to win on mobile. This isn't a gut feeling. The data is screaming at them. And they are not messing around with their goals for these new features. Just look at that new gamified extension. They're not hoping for a tiny little bump in users. They're aiming for a huge 20% jump in daily active users in just the first 3 months. That's a really aggressive goal. Okay, but having an awesome product is really only half the story, right? I mean, how do you get that product in front of millions of people all over the world? That takes a completely different set of skills. So let's check out their playbook for going global. First thing you'll notice is they're not trying to boil the ocean here. Instead of trying to be everywhere at once, they're making a really targeted push into specific high-growth markets in Asia. This is smart because it lets them really focus and customize the strategy for each place instead of just spreading their resources way too thin.
And the way they're doing it is pretty clever. It's not just about running a few ads. They're mixing it all together. They've got localized marketing, they're teaming up with local influencers who people actually trust, and they're even getting involved with local tech incubators. It's all about becoming part of the community, not just another foreign company.
And again, this is not a spray and pray approach. They have a huge rebranding campaign kicking off, and it has one very specific, very measurable goal: boost brand awareness by 25%. Every single dollar they spend is tied directly to hitting that number.
All right, which brings us to maybe the most important part of this whole thing: accountability. You can have the best plan in the world, but how do you actually know if it's working? Well, you measure it. So let's look at the numbers they're tracking.
First up, the big one, growth. One of their main goals is to hit 20% growth in new subscribers every single month. That is a blistering pace, and it's a target that keeps everyone in the company laser-focused on what matters.
But it's not just about getting bigger, it's about getting better. They're putting in a new quality control process, and the goal is to cut the number of bugs that make it out the door by 40%. That's huge. It means a smoother experience for users and way less time for their engineers spent putting out fires.
And just look at this table. It really shows you how much they live by the numbers. They are tracking absolutely everything, from how many people sign up, to how often they're late launching a feature, to how long their internal processes take, and everything has a tough goal attached. You're watching a company turn itself into a finely tuned machine.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that a winning AI strategy is never just one single big idea. It's a whole system where everything is connected. The tech has to support the product needs the right marketing plan, and all of it has to be measured and improved constantly. It's like a complex machine. Every single gear has to turn in perfect sync for the whole thing to work.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. As AI becomes more and more a part of, well, everything, is this the new blueprint for success? Is this kind of incredibly detailed, soup-to-nuts strategy the only way companies are going to be able to compete and win from now on?